kind of got this ball rolling again? I know it's kind of been talked about for a while. Who kind of got it rolling to where it is now?
Yeah, I just mentioned to Mike that Jerry came to Knox back in early March. Yes, it was late February. Brought some schematics and some other things. We knew the history. We knew that this had been talked about for a long time. We really wanted to make it happen. We were going to do all we could to bring it to fruition within reason. And anytime you're in negotiation of this magnitude, it does take a long time to get it finalized. It certainly did, because we just finalized all this within the last 10 days. So they were consistent and intense efforts to get it done. As Jim said, I've known Jim a long, long time. He's in the Atlanta Coast Conference with him for many years. He's a terrific person. And I think we had a lot of conversations as well about going all we could to get this game done.
Has the Nebraska game series, has that series been pushed back?
It has been. We announced that today as well. It's been pushed back to 26-27. We've got to see what we're doing in our own league.
Yeah.
We've got to see where we're going in the SEC relative to whether we're going to play 9 games is the most important component. So I've been in conversation with people we have on the schedule. We're going to play Oklahoma. We're going to play that 2-game series. But beyond that, I've been in conversation with my counterparts at those institutions, just explaining our position and that we want to have some flexibility based on what we do. And again, we've strategically, I've always loved the neutral site game. I've been engaged in it for years at different institutions. I think the exposure is priceless. People talk about it all summer long. I think from a coaching perspective, it's players' focus. And so I'm a big fan of neutral site games, and we've talked to other cities as well. It won't be a venue as spectacular as this.
Can you say what other cities?
I can't yet until we finalize those, but I've talked to 6 different cities over the course of the last 15 months.
Dave, why did this happen now? And what were some of the hang-ups maybe previously since it's been talked about for so long?
You know, Heather, that's a fair question, but I don't really know, having only been involved in this negotiation. I really don't know where the breakdowns or the hurdles that were insurmountable might have existed. But again, there was a collective willingness to prioritize this and to make it happen. And it wasn't an easy trip that we took. There were times when you said, well, no wonder this has never happened. but we got through those rough spots, and this is a great day for these 2 universities, and a great day for Bristol Motorsports.
With Butch Jones being such a promoter of his program, did he need a lot of convincing?
No, Butch was immediately on board, not only for this game, because he understands fully the value in recruiting. Butch is all about recruiting, as you've learned. And so his first response was, man, that would be unbelievable for recruiting, Dave, if we can get that done. But he's on board. We're trying to get into markets and venues that are important to us from a recruiting perspective.
Dave, as the ball got going on this, did you seek advice or thoughts from boosters and other people of influence at all to get feedback at all?
No, not really. I mean, there were some people that I talked to in this area who I knew would be excited. But no, we knew, we charted a course and we knew what the destination was, and knew it would be tough to get to the destination. But because everybody worked so hard collectively to do that, here we stand today.
You were in Alabama when a lot of this talk was going on. I imagine when you were at Bama, you heard about it, Tennessee, Virginia, and now you're here, and you're a key person putting all this together. Is it kind of odd?
Well, I heard about this when I was at Florida State. I'm not so sure whether East Carolina was there the first time. But it has been talked about a long time. That it's, if you're a player, you have an opportunity to play in a venue that's going to set the all-time record for football at every level, the largest crowd potentially to ever witness a football game. Well, now you can talk about that for the rest of the year. So it's going to be exciting across the board. Prospects, players, alumni, faculty, staff. It's an exciting day for them.
What were the average ticket prices? Has that been determined or talked about? Any idea what's going to cost?
We're going down that road. We're pretty far down that road, but I don't think we're ready to.
Why was this appealing to you to play this game?
I just said a moment ago. Number one, it's a one-time shot to be a part of a venue in an event that may never be duplicated. ever. So that's number one. Number two, I'm a real proponent of neutral site. I think that there are so many advantages in playing neutral site.
What were the biggest logistical and hang-ups you were going to have to deal with? You said you could kind of see why it took so long.
We'll not run any post pattern that game. There were a lot of challenges, hence the 17 years that it took to get to this day. A lot of challenges in terms of logistics. But these are great people here. They know what they're doing. They know how to do it. And they've invested. They've invested in this game being a success. So we're confident.
Nebraska 2026 in Lincoln, 2027 in Knoxville? Is that
No.
Okay.
We moved what would have been the current series to 26, 27.
26, 27. Okay.
Yeah,
David,
2 games.
I'm sorry. Are you looking at 165,000, or what are you thinking here with capacity?
You know, all along, Jim, we've been talking about 150,000. That they're comfortable they can get 150,000. Now they're still in talks about maybe doing some other things to get some more people. And then you've got great boxes here, as you well know. Just hard to beat this venue.
When did they present a plan to you that, logistic-wise, you accepted? Was it a couple months ago, or?
We went through several iterations and long discussions relative to that plan, and we came to a feasible agreement, not just really a couple weeks ago.
In the past, they've thrown out some huge dollar figures. Does this have a chance to be lucrative for Tennessee and Virginia Tech as well as good exposure?
I think you can't put a value on the exposure, but certainly it'll be a significant guarantee, as well as there are incentives built in there that, depending upon what that capacity looks like at the end of the day, that we could receive bonuses for that as well. So, that's one element of it, and that's all well and good. But the hidden value is what you can't put your finger on.
In an era where a lot of folks are having trouble filling their stadiums, do you feel pretty confident that you'll be able to get a lot of folks here?
I do, Jimmy. Number one, you got to look at that proximity that I mentioned. It's 2 hours for each fan base. Nobody's getting on a plane relative to Knoxville and Blacksburg. It's easily accessible. Both fan bases have a lot of existing NASCAR fans. NASCAR is important to a lot of people in our two respective fan bases. And I think you'll have a lot of students. I mean, let's be honest. Take yourself back. What, Jimmy, for you, 30 years? 20? But if you're a student, you want to be a part of this. You want to say, I was there. I was there when that all-time record was set. So I do. I feel very good. And we have time. It's not next season. And that was strategic in nature as well. So we have a lot of time to get to that point.
Do you think, you kind of mentioned earlier the SEC, what the SEC schedule will be in 16. Do you think in 16, do you think it will be to 9 games?
Well, you know where I am. And I'm one person. And I'm a very, very strong proponent of 9 games. And I think it's important for all of us that we know what we look like from 16 on. And that's why that we've left flexibility. And this happened months ago in our scheduling. We knew where we wanted to go with that until such time that we know what that schedule is going to look like.
Do you think it's heading towards 9 games, though?
I have no idea. Until I get to the next meeting, I don't know exactly where everybody else will be.
Had you been aware that they'd been negotiating this potential game for 17 years?
I was aware. I didn't know the number until we got into all this, but I knew, Jimmy, it had been a long, long time. The most impressive thing I heard was Marcus say he was going to buy some tickets. I guess that means there's no comps, because if he can't get comps, then I suspect we don't have it.
How much did the exposure mean to the program?
Oh, you can't, again, as I said, you can't put a value on the exposure. And that's important to us as we rebuild this football program. That's a staple in our strategy. We want to maximize the exposure for our program. And we have all the history and tradition necessary to do that. And as we rebuild it, and Butch is well about that task, these kind of announcements are important. And that's why we were so focused on doing all we could to make this happen.
When you got it.